Thank you all very much for coming. It's really nice to see a big crowd. Thank you. Before we begin, I would like to recognize a distinguished guest. With us tonight is Councilwoman Yvonne Johnson. I'm very happy to see you. I think it's kind of appropriate in a way that you're here on February 1st, in that if I have my Yvonne Johnson history right, your foray into the civic sphere began when you went to Woolworths in support of the sit-ins. That's right, in 1960. And she has been serving the community in a number of capacities since 1960, including the great achievement of being Greensboro's first African-American mayor. And starting a nonprofit herself called One Step Further, which helps people who may be on a path to getting in trouble with the law to find a different route. So it's a great honor to have you here. You've been an inspiration to a lot of people in this town. Very happy to have you here.
Yes, thank you. It's great to be here.
Thank you. My name is Brock Smith Jr. I'm the creator and operator of GreensboroArtsHub. It's an online portal to the art and culture of the greater Greensboro area. 4 years ago, you may remember that we started hearing from a man named Dr. Fauci. And he was explaining to us that there was some kind of disease going on in China, but that we probably didn't have anything to worry about, at least not just yet. Well, a few months later, everything began to lock down. And a lot of us found ourselves with a little extra time on our hands. I was looking for something to fill that time, and I turned to reading the Greensboro Cultural Master Plan of 2018. And there was a section in it that caught my eye. It called for an online portal to the arts of the area. More about that in a minute. First, I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. I grew up in Greensboro, and I attended Smith High School. I went to Western Carolina University, where I earned a BFA in theater. After some time in Atlanta, I moved back to Greensboro and started a graphic design business. By 1996, the internet had captured my imagination. And I was intrigued right from the start about how this new technology would intersect with local information. So I started a website called The Wire. Now, what I'm going to tell you is going to be a big eye roll to the young people in the crowd, but you'll have to trust me. At the time, it was quite an innovation. It was a website where people could get movie schedules, the weather, classified ads, and of course, event information, even including, I went back and looked at some of the archives, the Carolina Theater. So throughout the years, I continued to build websites, including a local blog aggregator and sites for businesses, both large and small, for nonprofit organizations and politicians, and most recently for the Guilford County Board of Elections. And now, GreensboroArtsHub. Let me take you on a quick tour of GreensboroArtsHub. This is the GreensboroArtsHub homepage. You see the background features art from a local artist. Looking at you, Deb. This is Deb Frederick, everybody. She's a beautiful painter. This is her, I don't know, your latest work? One of your latest works?
2022.
And work, soul culture.
Yeah, soul culture.
Mm-hmm. You can see that the Explore and Post buttons are displayed prominently. And I'm sorry, bear with me. Okay, well, I'm just going to stand here. It looks good on mobile, too. The curator's pick is a listing that I select, trying to bring attention to some particular event or person or work of art. It does change very frequently, almost daily. Listings are what are created when someone adds information to GreensboroArtsHub. And we can display listing as what you see here on the curator's pick as a preview card. If we click on the quick view on the preview card, you see that we get a quick look at the listing. If we scroll down the home page, you see that we have a collection of preview cards, each with pertinent information, even music samples for some of the listings. And when we click on a preview card, we get to the complete listing with a wealth of interactive information relevant to that type of listing. For example, for an event, date, time, location, a link to tickets, direction, public transportation schedules from the user's location to the event, performance videos and music samples. And one of the great features of GreensboroArtsHub is relational listings. Here we see a listing of an event place, the Carolina Theater. And if we click on the place listing, an event at the Carolina Theater, we're looking still at an event listing. If we click on the preview card for the Carolina Theater, we see the Carolina Theater's various events. Now these are added to the venue listing automatically. When someone places an event listing, you can select a related place, and then that place listing will automatically be updated with the events for that place. So it's a very efficient way of making sure that you're interlinking people, events, organizations, all the things that might be interrelated. Adding a listing is quite easy. You start by selecting the type of listing to add. Then there's a step where we offer payment options. GreensboroArtsHub, since its inception, has always had a free option and always will. This is simply an opportunity for people to make a financial contribution to help sustain the effort. GreensboroArtsHub, there's the form. Just fill out a form to place the listing. So we put the listing in the hands of the people with information to share. It's not a top-down effort. There's no administrator collecting information or publishing information. This is a platform for the community to use as they will. GreensboroArtsHub also has an administrative backend that provides a unified environment for user registration and management, newsletter administration, forms and surveys, content management, and front-end design, as well as automated user and administrator email notifications of activities. So the user gets a confirmation of the listing being placed, the administrator gets an email letting them know that someone has placed a listing, helps us keep on top of things. So what I've learned in the 3 years of operating GreensboroArtsHub is that there's an opportunity here for an online platform that is more than an events calendar. And I see that having the potential to inject some velocity into the local arts scene. We saw some momentum build last year with the temporary financial support of Creative Greensboro, which helped take user engagement to a whole new level. And I want to build on that momentum. So here's my vision. There are 4 primary benefits to having Greensboro Arts Hub become a nonprofit. One is diversity in governance and goal setting. 2, a broader funding landscape with opportunities for grants, sponsorships, individual contributions, and earned revenue. 3, long-term viability. Over time, bringing people on board capable of operating Greensboro Arts Hub. 4, an expanded scope of activities, both online and in the real world. So envision Greensboro 2.0 with me. We can begin by imagining site improvements, including adding more of a social media feel, like where people can follow, post collections, message each other, things like that. An artist online store where artists can actually sell their wares online at Greensboro Arts Hub. An automated email to local media when someone places a listing. I've heard this request from a number of people who place events, that it would be nice for them not to be able to cut down on the number of contacts they have to initiate. And I think that that's something that we can do. In fact, it's already in the works. I need to return my attention to it, but basically you host an event and off it goes as a press release to the local media. Site improvements. Oh, we did site improvements. Real world activities, including pop-up workshops, artist retreats, exhibitions, a scholarship fund, and providing web services to other arts organizations. Memberships with benefits that may include vision insurance for artists, low-cost commission for online sales, discounts for at local merchants such as art supply stores and restaurants. And these are my ideas. If you would like to support them, I hope you'll come on board. This is a very nascent effort, so there's great opportunity for your voices to have meaning when you participate at this stage. And I know many of you will have your own ideas, and I welcome them. And this was very important to me, so I had to write it down. And so I'm going to read it word for word. If you start this journey with me, I promise you this. You'll have my dedication, my honesty, and my gratitude. And together, we'll create something that the community admires and of which you can be proud. So to get started, you can scan the QR code on the back of your handout sheet, or you can go to GreensboroArtsHub.com/nonprofit. And at this point, I am happy to answer any questions that you might have. Anybody? Don't be shy. I'm an open book.
My question
Yes,
was,
Marta.
we were going to talk before, how did you go about curating what you've collected so far? How did you come up with these bios? I'm just curious.
Okay, well that's a very good question. When I started, I went around and just Googled local artists. And Marta, that's how I found you.
No.
And so I put some listings online just to get it going, just to see it. Most of what you see now has been added by other people, both people working on behalf of organizations and individual artists themselves. We also, last summer, with the support of Creative Greensboro, went out into the community and did some pop-up workshops. And these allowed us to kind of do a little bit of hand-holding for people who maybe were not quite comfortable with online technology, or who needed some quality photos of their artwork or headshots. So we did photography and helped people craft an engaging bio and help them get online. We brought 25 artists on board through that way. And the rest, as I say, is grassroots driven. It's people posting their own content. Does that answer your question? Okay. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
I see in the brochure it says payment execution to purchase site utilizing CDC. What do you have in mind for a site?
What are you referring to?
The the report,
Mm-hmm.
and
Read it to me
just
again.
curious if you were going to have a brick and mortar
Oh,
site.
okay, I understand. That was not in my thinking, but, you know, I guess maybe there are, depending on the directions we go, there may ultimately be the desire to have a physical presence. I think we could do a lot online first, but I wouldn't rule that out. Next question? Yes, sir.
I do analog stuff.
Mhm.
I make guitars. I don't know if it's art or not, but would it be worthwhile to try to put these up there?
You make what?
Guitars.
Oh, yes, of course, absolutely. Yes, in fact,
I mean, can you sell stuff from the website?
we cannot sell
Okay.
yet, but that is one of the things I would like us to discuss doing, because
Yeah.
I think that maybe that would be very helpful to local artists, and I could certainly see guitars being sold online. In fact, the music area is one that I would like to juice up a little bit, so, yes.
Can
Yes.
you tell us more about your pop-ups? How many have you done and how did they go?
I think we did 6. There's a page in that document that you have, and they were, I don't want to say sparsely attended. We had small groups, which was good, as it turns out, because it gave me a lot of time. Greg was at one. It gave me a lot of time to give people individual attention, so we didn't have to rush through the photography, for example. But I think the largest one had maybe 8 or 9 people, and the smallest had 2.
Outside, inside? Where,
Inside, so we had one at the African American Atelier. That was our first one, and then we had one at the McGirt Horton Library off of Phillips Avenue, and then we had one at the Creative Aging Network, and then we had 2 at the Theater Art Gallery in High Point.
okay.
And for any of you who are from outside Greensboro, let me just say a word about the name. Our intention is to include the entire region, the Greensboro metropolitan region. The reason I call it Greensboro Arts Hub is because it needed, well, for one thing, it needed a name that people could remember, that was, you know, catchy, that was descriptive, that would give Google some juice, some idea of what the site was about. So it's not meant to be exclusionary in any way. My thinking is that if people are looking for events in the area, the thing that they'll think of first will be Greensboro. But certainly, as many of you probably know, you can live in parts of Greensboro that are closer to High Point. There are probably people who frequent High Point establishments more than Greensboro establishments, even though they have a Greensboro address. So don't let the idea that it's Greensboro Arts Hub discourage you in any way if your interest is from outside the area. Yes?
I just want to let you know that I am a professional proofreader and editor. So if there's any help that I can give you with the site, you know, reading it over and making sure that it's consistent and correct, I will be more than happy to do that for you.
Thank you. You know, that's exactly the kind of thing that I'm hoping as a nonprofit we can better accommodate. Because right now it would be me and you. Not that there would be anything wrong with that, but with a larger group, we can begin to maybe have more of a concerted effort to have people who can contribute to the operation of it. I understand, if I have this correctly, that you drove from New York
Yeah, we came from
for this. Yeah, you win the prize for longest distance. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
She said to me online, she said, Tom, that's a long way. I said, maybe for an amateur.
Wow. You just wanted a vacation.
Tom is a musician. We just met, but a folk musician, I understand.
Well, actually, I'm a singer-songwriter, and I write all kinds of stuff for all kinds of people.
Well, thank you for coming.
You are entirely welcome.
Any other questions? Yes.
Are there any plans in the future to have regular meetings for just general membership? To discuss new ideas, discuss what is good, what is gone wrong?
Right.
A lot of
Sure.
input.
Yes. Well, I can certainly, yes. Yes, the short answer is yes, but let me tell you how we get there. The next step is to get the nonprofit off the ground. So there's some formality to that. One of the things I need is a board. And so this is where I'm hoping that you folks may find some interest in participating. If you don't want to serve on the board, then there will certainly be opportunities for volunteerism. It's the board and the actual formally establishing a nonprofit. There's the paperwork with the IRS and the state, getting that completed. And then it would be the board that can decide these things like you just asked. So when are we going to have memberships? Will we have meetings? What are we going to do for the members? Those kinds of things are the kinds of things that I expect the board to be able to craft. Yes.
Are you currently a nonprofit, or are you hoping
No.
to be a nonprofit?
No, well, the intellectual property of Greensboro ArtsHub is currently right now owned by my company, Altmedia 101 Incorporated. I am the 87% stockholder, so what I say goes.
Yeah, you're the only founder, yes?
I'm the only founder of Greensboro ArtsHub and the only one operating it.
Okay.
Yes, it's a one-man show currently. But we will, when the board is assembled, we will discuss how we're going to transfer the intellectual property legally to the nonprofit so that, it's all above board and there's no, we don't get into any kind of trouble for, not thinking things through, or where the nonprofit expects to have ownership of it and there's some loose end that we didn't pick up.
So you need a lawyer on your board, or you need to have a lawyer
We do
as a
not.
friend? Okay.
No, I pissed off all my lawyers.
Right.
So yes, we would be looking for a lawyer and an accountant.
And a grant writer?
I know there's a lot to it. I'm eager to take a stab at it, but yes, a grant writer. And, there are all sorts of skills when you stop to think about it. From note taking to communications, there's a variety of things that we need. Yes.
I think sometimes it can be confusing to try to coordinate all the different organizations, the arts organizations in Greensboro. It seems like you mentioned in this brochure that in the future you will be allowing some of these organizations to be on your website. Do you currently, and maybe you already do this on your site, offer an explanation of how all these organizations link together and how they could come together and maybe represent the arts community as one instead of having these different entities?
Well, I'm going to answer your question in two parts. The local arts organizations are already on Greensboro ArtsHub, many of them. Let me show you. I'm going to go up here and I'll search for Creative Greensboro. Oh. Oh, yeah, we have Creative Greensboro. So Creative Greensboro is listed. Okay, there's no real explanation of their involvement with Greensboro ArtsHub. They stand there as anybody else would be listed. When they were sponsoring us, our emails went out with a recognition of their sponsorship, and there were other places on the website that recognized them. But they and other arts organizations are simply listed, and you see that we do the related listings too. So here is their First Friday for tomorrow night, which sounds pretty exciting, and maybe you all will consider going. Does that answer your question?
It does. It's like we have the North Carolina Council for the Arts. They do certain grants and I know offer funding for other organizations. I just think it'd be nice to have on your site kind of how all these pieces and what each organization does to kind of explain that for just the normal layperson in the community, how we all could come together better.
Okay, well, that's certainly something we're thinking about. You know, one of the greatest avenues for engagement with our content is through our email newsletter. And from time to time, I will curate certain content, like, for example, opportunities. So what you describe could possibly begin as just an informative email newsletter. Hey, are you familiar with all our organizations? And just do that, present them from our list.
And what opportunities they could provide.
Yes,
for
right.
artists.
Right. Well, yeah, so you can search, there's an opportunities section on GreensboroArtsHub. It's thinly populated. So this, oh yeah, okay, so this portion is location aware, if you saw that pop up. So you see just a few. But you can search for different types of opportunities. That's kind of pointless when you only have a few listings like that, but if we get more, it may be helpful to be able to just filter for auditions or whatever. One thing I didn't show you too is also that we can map things, give the users a map view too. So you can navigate to, like we're looking at High Point right now, there's the opportunity that is in High Point right now, call for artists. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, sir.
About how many board members are you looking for?
That's a very good question. I have been told from people who have experience in nonprofits that you want a large enough board to do all the heavy lifting. You may have some advice on this.
15 to 20.
Okay, that's about what I was hearing. And that, tell me if this is true too, that you generally want a small executive committee so you can move quickly. How large is your executive committee?
4 or 5.
4 or 5, that's what I heard too. Okay, so that comports with what I've been thinking. Do you have any thoughts on that? Okay. Anybody else?
What level of expertise do you expect from
Whatever your expertise is. No, seriously, whatever your expertise is, I want you to bring your expertise to the table so that we have a broad cross-section of the community. So if something comes up, you can say, I know a little something about that. Yes, sir.
So you said that currently you can't market your stuff through there, but I'm searching for a founder or another artist. Is there a search function?
Yes.
You go in there and find somebody or a service?
Yes. Let me show you. So one of the most forward-facing ways is this little search facility right here. That you pretty much have to kind of know who you're looking for to use that one. But once you go exploring, and so we go, okay, now we're looking at people. So you can search by name, you can search by their artistic category, their broad category, and you see that we also can sort by people who, with these various characteristics. So we can do like available for commissions, and filters us down to those who are available for commissions. During the holidays last year, we also did a segment of artists for works with works for sale. So from there, you might want to have some images at the ready, but it should just be a matter of stepping through.
Also, it's very easy, I think. And I didn't get good. And I went through and I'm like,
Yeah, you don't have to know anything about like formatting or design. You just give us the stuff and we'll take it from there. Anybody else? Yes? Yeah, that's okay.
You had an opportunity not too long ago at Condon Yard, well, I think there were some here in Greensboro as well, where the artists could bring their work, you had a photographer take their picture, lay out everything, they could put their resume or bio, and you had all of that for free. Are you going to be doing this again?
Probably. You know, I had the time for that. The photographer was me. I had the time.
Good job.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Well, it was really a lot of fun to do, you know?
You got to meet the artists.
I got to meet the artists, spend a little one-on-one time with them. It was, yeah, I enjoyed it. It really, it was time-consuming, and it was the financial support of Creative Greensboro that allowed me to actually be able to do that, to travel to those locations and do that. But I enjoyed it, and I hope we can do it again.
Great service.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, before you go, two things. Parking is free after 7, so I hope we haven't gone that long. No. But if you have your parking ticket, there's a machine in the, you have to go through into the main lobby. There's a machine in there that will validate your parking ticket for an additional hour. So you get 1 hour free, put your ticket in the machine, you get a second hour free. Also, we have 2 people in attendance who have won a GreensboroArtsHub sweatshirt. If you'll look up under your chair or feel up under your chair, you're looking for a Post-it note. An orange Post-it note. There we go. Okay, congratulations. Thank you all so much for coming. We still have the room for a little while, and there's still a lot of food left. So please, if you know, we can mingle and talk some more, eat, drink, hang out if you can. So, but if you're leaving, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. And